Hello, and welcome to Flip the Coin Onto Its Egg. I am your host, Michael Papaw Newton. I've studied philosophy, classic and ancient mythology, spirituality, science, and religions like Christianity, Judaism, Wicca, Kabbalah, Buddhism, and Taoism for over 20 years. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to leave all preconceived notions, opinions, and beliefs at the door. Open up. This episode is number 9, and the essence of today's episode is what we must do to play the game effectively. In this spellbinding episode, we dive into the intriguing answers to the meaning of life and what our soul is desiring from us. Just a reminder, tap the button to follow this podcast. Now, into our show. Each one of us, every human being who has ever walked or will ever walk this planet, in the past, present, or future, every kind of plant that has ever grown, every kind of animal that has ever lived, every insect, every speck of matter throughout time, all of this is a part of the light or cosmic energy. For each one of our souls and the souls of all humanity throughout time is part of the light. The innate nature of the soul is the desire to receive. Here is an example. A guy goes to a restaurant to eat steak. He is so hungry that he eats 2 complete steaks. Now he's stuffed. There's no more space. He's ready to burst. He can't even look at another piece of meat. Suddenly, the waiter comes over with an amazing chocolate dessert. Remarkably, the guy is hungry again. Did that ever happen to you? In terms of physical space inside his stomach, did anything change? Obviously not. So what changed? Because he had a desire for the dessert, he created a space for it. When he lost his desire for steak, the space for steak vanished and disappeared. Receiving fulfillment and light in our lives has nothing to do with physical space. It is founded upon desire, the vessel of each individual person. Desire is the essence of a vessel. A person with a big vessel is a person with big desires. It is these desires that attract the light, energy, and success to his life. How can the light and soul be one if they are 2 separate entities, one sharing and the other receiving? Because we are limited by our logical, rational mind, there is a simple analogy to help us glimpse what is really occurring in the endless. Imagine a block of ice. Suppose an artist creates an ice sculpture. He carves out a beautiful cup from the ice block. Think of this cup as being the soul. Suppose we then pour water into this cup. At their very essence, both the cup and the water are H2O, one energy force, but 2 forms. Sharing and receiving occur in one realm of H2O, one reality, but 2 intelligences. This is similar to the endless. If total perfection exists in the endless, what on earth are we doing here? Where is the endless? Why are we in a world of suffering, pain, and chaos if the original purpose is an endless realm of absolute fulfillment? What happened? To help us understand what occurred next, it is important to examine the attributes of the light and the soul a little more closely. The light is the proactive force. The soul is the reactive force. Here's why. Proactive means being the cause. Reactive means being the effect. Proactive means being in control. Reactive means being controlled. Proactive means sharing. Reactive means receiving. Proactive means being a creator of situations. Reactive means being a reactor to situations. You see, the soul is under the creative control of the light. The soul is receiving while the light is sharing. The soul is a reactor to the situation in the endless, while the light is the creator of the situation in the endless. From this point onward, whenever we use the proactive or reactive, it refers to the light and soul respectively. The light and soul were one. The soul is part of the total energy we have been talking about. Consider an empty glass. This glass corresponds to the soul. Now imagine hot water as the light. What if we poured the hot water into the cup? What happens to the cup? It becomes hot. It absorbs the attributes of that which is filling it. Just as parents' genes are passed on to the children, the soul inherits the nature of the light. In simpler words, the soul inherited the DNA of the energy. We can use the example of a mountain. Suppose a mountain is made of granite. This granite mountain corresponds to the light. Suppose we take a knife and cut out a stone from the tip of the mountain. That stone corresponds to the soul. Is there any difference between the two in terms of their basic matter? No, they are both granite. They are the same, except one is the part and the other is the whole. The granite is symbolic of the oneness between the light and the soul. The granite represents the light's proactive nature. In other words, the light is proactive and the soul contains the genes of being proactive. However, as the stone and mountain, there is still an element of separation between the light and the soul. In our 1% physical world, we used a knife to cut and separate the stone from the mountain. What is the cause of their separation in the 99%? You see, the light has no aspect of receiving or reactiveness within its nature. The granite is symbolic of the oneness, the proactive nature. And the separation between the stone and the mountain is symbolic of the difference between nature, proactive, and reactive. Put simply, why is a stone called a stone if it's really the mountain? The answer is that when it is separated, it takes on a new identity. However, it doesn't lose its old identity. It's just that the new identity becomes the dominant force. This is how it is with the soul. Its dominant force is reactive. This reactive identity causes separation between the light and the soul. Now comes a very important question. How can the vessel reacquire its true identity? The answer is by completely and absolutely shutting down its existing identity to be reactive and allowing its true identity, proactive, to emerge. When the soul is totally proactive, it is now one with the light because the light is also proactive. So, how does a stone lose its identity of being a stone in order to become a mountain once again? The stone must reattach itself to the mountain. When a stone is reattached to a mountain, it is no longer a stone. There is no longer a difference between the stone and the mountain. In fact, the stone is the mountain, proactive. Therefore, when the soul removes the one aspect that separates it from the mountain, both entities are now proactive. The soul reattaches itself to the light, to the part, then reunites with the whole. We can embrace these beautiful principles in our everyday life. The true meaning of life is found in sharing and helping others. By living a life of kindness and service, we extend our love not just to humans, but to all of creation, plants, animals, those flying and crawling. Do the best you can according to your abilities, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Living a life of sharing is a reflection of the universe itself. Just as the universe shares its boundless energy, filling every corner of the cosmos with light, so too do our souls feel fulfilled when we share our talents, possessions, and love. Sharing awakens a deep sense of gratitude, as if the light itself acknowledges our efforts. Our souls crave connection with this divine light, and sharing nurtures that beautiful bond. It can be as grand as the splendor of the Taj Mahal, or as simple as letting a car merge in front of us on the road. The size of the act isn't as important as the love behind it. Your soul longs to feel that joyful, loving connection to the light through sharing. Remember, you're not required to help every opportunity or carry every burden. You can, when you can, give generously. When you can't, allow yourself to rest without guilt and graciously accept the kindness of others. It may feel a bit awkward at first to receive, but just as your soul needs giving, others also need to share their love and support. Embrace these moments with an open heart, knowing that sharing is the truest connection with the light. The soul can now enjoy all the infinite benefits, pleasures, and fulfillment that go along with being one with the light. When the soul completely removes its reactive nature, the purpose of the light will be fulfilled and the soul will have everything. What could the soul do to transform its reactive nature into proactive? Proactively share. Acknowledge it to yourself that you did it and why. The playing field is our world, the planet Earth. Now the soul can learn to transform its reactive nature by interacting and learning to live as one with all the other souls. Learning to realize that the other person is really a part of you, that your annoying neighbor who really gets on your nerves is actually connected to your soul. In fact, on a deeper level of reality, he is you, since all souls come from this energy of the universe. In short, the winning move in the game of life is connecting ourselves to the people, the situations, and the world around us in a proactive way. All we have to do is just look around. The difficult people, the situations, the obstacles in our face, they are all there for a reason. Be proactive in our business dealing and in all our personal relationships. We came to this world in order to become an active, lasting force, proactive. Therefore, rule number 3 in the game of life is as follows. I will only receive lasting fulfillment when I transform my nature from reactive into proactive. That's all we have time for. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode. Today, we learned about how our souls desire the energy they get from the light. We can help our souls by giving them an environment of sharing. When we share with other souls, not just human, we help our souls feel from the light. Next week, we'll talk about where are the others. I advise you not to believe anything you hear in this podcast. Test it out in your life. It has to work for you. Believing means there's already an element of doubt. The secret to success is to know the laws of life, not to believe in them. When you test these laws and principles, you will come to know. For your own benefit, make room for compelling new ideas. This will allow you to understand and evaluate the teachings more effectively. Quick reminder, click the button to follow this podcast. Remember, God woke you up this morning for a reason. Now go out and find out why.